Nope. All right. I am Betsy Gosnell, the Executive Director of Leadership Coshocton County and Coshocton County Youth Leadership. We are excited to have a combined group here with us today as we will be listening to the youth leadership members of the class of 2020 giving their Pay It Forward project presentations. The first individual that will be leading us off is Ethan Straub. Ethan?
Hello, my name is Ethan Straub and I'm a junior at Ridgewood High School. Before I go into details about my project, I'd like to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to make a community this better place. At first, I was unsure who or what to donate the $100 to. I had a rough idea that I wanted to do something around the veterans because those are my role models. Many people in my life have been serving or have served in the military, and I look up to them, and myself would like to go in the military after high school. So helping veterans is something I'm very passionate about. Still undecided how you could use this money, I decided to take a trip to the Coshocton County Veteran Services. I met a man by the name of Zach Miller who talked to me about different ways to impact local veterans. The organization I decided to donate my money to was the Honor Guard. Does anyone know who the Honor Guard is? The Honor Guard is a group of veterans who are responsible for carrying out the tradition of honoring our fallen soldiers. They are the men in the uniform at the funeral who present the flag to the veteran's family, as well as firing the 21 shots. The money you generously donated will be used toward Honor Guard uniforms, and I plan to attend one of these funerals in the near future. To give this money, I attended the Veterans Council meeting. There I presented the $100 to the trustees, who ensured that the money would go directly toward the Honor Guard. I decided to stay for the entire meeting, and I'm glad I did, because it really blew my mind how a small group of people were so passionate about helping the community. The whole meeting, was just about what can we do, all these events going on, and it just blew my mind. Their mission was clear. It was their job to make a better place for the veterans and their families. Because of this, I feel like I accomplished something. Even though it wasn't my money personally, I feel like donating this $100 will impact Coshocton County and its veterans, and I believe it will be good use. Along with donating the money, I believe showing up to the monthly meeting and conversing with them made that $100 special. I believe this gift has impacted them more than financially, but also emotionally as well. Presenting myself there showed that there are young people willing to step up and make a change. And that's all this group is about, young leaders taking charge. And once again, I'd like to thank you all for making this possible.
Okay. Ooh, whoops. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Braden Carr. I'm a junior at Riverview High School, and I'm also a proud member of the 2020 class for Coshocton County Youth Leadership. And I'm honored to have been given this opportunity to pay it forward in the form of a $100 bill. To be given the chance to spread kindness throughout the world in the form of money was so amazing. I want to thank the Coshocton Foundation for giving me the opportunity to do so. I know that how I use my money has left an impact on the world, but I'm sure you're wondering how I use the money. So we were told about the Pay It Forward project back in July during our retreat, and I wasn't sure immediately how to use it, but I knew that I had plenty of time to procrastinate. So I waited, and one thing that came to mind was that I wanted to see the impact that I was leaving, and I wanted to give it to someone or a group that had impacted me directly in my life. And all of us here probably have a hero, whether that's, Superman or Conor McGregor, or maybe you're just your mom or your dad, but mine was a dude with glasses who wears a flannel to work every day, who's my 5th and 6th grade math teacher, and his name's Mr. Jones. So Mr. Jones wasn't just my teacher, he was like my best friend. He gave me some of the best life advice that I will never forget to this day. Not only this, but he genuinely cared about not just me, but everyone in his classroom and in the school. In 6th grade, we went to Camp Ohio, but I also had really bad separation anxiety, and because of him, he helped me overcome this anxiety and go to camp. And if it wasn't for him, I doubt I'd be up here in front of you today speaking. And for that reason and many others, I wanted to repay Mr. Jones for all that he's done for me, which is why I decided to give my $100 to him. So it was approaching Christmas time when we finally got the money, and I was bound to not procrastinate and give it away before February arrived. So I decided to go into the school before Christmas break, and I had talked to the principal before, and he was pretty proud of what I was doing for Mr. Jones. And so when I walked into Mr. Jones' room, all the kids, they stared at me, and their eyes were like laser beams. I was like getting a little nervous, like starting to sweat. And Mr. Jones had no clue I was there. So I sat at the back of the room, and he happened to be playing the guitar for his kids, playing Christmas tunes because, his goal is just to spread joy for everyone. And so I sat there and waited for a pause in the music, and I got up to present the money to him and told him my purpose. And immediately he started tearing up because, well, he tried to play it off with jokes because that's just who he is. But he appreciated it a lot. So I stuck around until after the kids went to recess, and he told me how much it meant to him. He told me that around Christmas time, he had spent so much money on his kids and his family and his coworkers that he only had $5 left in his bank account at the moment. So knowing that I was helping him get through the next week until his paycheck meant a lot to me. And I'm glad that I could leave that impact on someone who left so much on me. Yeah, he said that God had answered his prayers because just the night before, he was hoping that he'd have enough to get by for the next week until his paycheck. So, and I also gave the class cookies because, when I was a 5th and 6th grader, anytime I can get free food, it was a benefit. But giving back to someone who gave so much to me was one of the greatest feelings in the world. I walked out of that school knowing that my day, my week, and probably my year was made because I got to give back to my childhood hero. Mr. Jones pours his time, money, and his heart into his students, and to be able to repay him meant the world to me. But the most important thing that I noticed from him is when I gave him the money, he told me that although he needed it, he knew of families that were in need too, so he was going to pay it forward to those who needed it more. So that just shows the kind of person who Mr. Jones is, and I knew that I was meant to give that money to him. And there's no other way that I would rather donate my money than to Mr. Jones. And if it weren't for him, like I said, I wouldn't be up here in front of you today. So I want to thank the Coshocton Foundation again, and I want to thank Mr. Jones. You guys have any questions? Okay. Oh, are there any questions? Okay, we're good.
Hello, I'm Nathaniel Stamper, and I go to Riverview High School. I'd first like to say thanks to the Coshocton Foundation for making this happen. I'm very grateful for all that this has done for me, and it's done for other people. At first, when I heard about this project, I was scared, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought about it for many days, and it was like a month later, I went into my physics class, and one of my best friends, Colton Miller, he was talking about our senior project. And he said it was a 5K, and I'm a cross-country runner, and I've been an avid runner since I was 7. So I was like, that's cool, I'll run that. But I didn't think anything else of it. And then he said all of the money that they get from the 5K goes to a scholarship for Mike Burr. And Mike Burr was a soccer coach, and he died of cancer last June. And I never had him as a coach because I've always been a runner. But I know what a coach can do to a person and how coaches can help people. And that's basically, I thought, well, if I can help with that, then that's what I wanted to do. So I told Colton about it, and he was very grateful. And I was just thinking to myself, what could I do for, like, how helpful this would be to his family, to coaches, just everything about him, and in memory of him. So then, one of his most famous quotes, well, it wasn't his quote, but it was one of his most that he liked. It was by John Wooden, and it said, "A good coach can change a game. A great coach can change a life." So that hit me hard. And when one of my coaches, Coach Neal, she's really impacted my life. And I know because Braden and Luke are soccer players, and they had Coach Burr. And I've only heard great things from him, and they've impacted their lives. So I thought that's what I needed to do. And Colton, as a grateful person, he was very happy, and I'm sure that his family, Coach Burr's family, is very grateful. But it made me feel honored that I could be a part of that. So then I wanted to raise awareness about the 5K and about just cancer in general, because cancer it's taken a lot from people, and my grandmas have both had cancer, and a lot of people in my family have had cancer. So I wanted to raise awareness with that, and this 5K will do that. And this 5K is going to help people, and the scholarship will help a kid who's going to college, and that's also going to help them. So it's going to help a lot more people than just his family and just Colton and just anyone running the 5K. It's going to help everybody, and that's what I liked most about it. That's all I have to say. Once again, thanks for the Coshocton Foundation, and thank you.
Hello, my name is Ariana Van Fossen, and I am a junior at Ridgewood High School. And first off, I would also like to start off by thanking all the Coshocton trustees who gave me this amazing opportunity to have this chance to donate to this amazing organization, which I bet you guys are also wondering what I donated to. I actually decided to donate to Shepherd's Christian Assembly, which we visited there on a program day. And when we were sitting there with the food that they prepared, there was all kinds of people coming in to come and get their meal that they probably were starving for days or just didn't have anything. And they came in and they just felt so unjudged. I could just tell they were so comfortable there. And that was just crazy to me because I've never really seen that, where it's like a church community and all these people, they were homeless or recovering drug addicts, and they just felt so comfortable there and welcome to come in and have that food there for them. So I decided to go to Walmart with my $100 and buy as much food as I possibly could for them. And then when I went to bring it to them, the pastor was actually sick, but his wife was there. And they were actually doing a Sunday service, and there were still all these people that didn't look like they belonged together, but they were just such a tight-knit community. And it was just amazing to see. And after she got done, she went through and prayed with everyone too, individually, which was really touched me because usually it's a whole group and they don't personally connect with everyone, but she made sure that she got through to everyone and hoped that to better their lives. So after I came up to her and told her what I was there for, she had actually said that she heard on the radio about how we got this money and that the Pay It Forward project. And little did she know that she was going to be a recipient of it. And she was just so baffled. And I brought her to tears, and it made me about come to tears because it was just crazy how thankful and amazing it was to give it to her. And when I got there and I showed up and it was just me and everyone there, I mean, there wasn't that much food, but they all came out and helped, and it was just an amazing experience to me to see that everyone there was so tight and that they just were that willing to help when they didn't know me or anything. And so after this, and she hugged me about 10 times. I could barely carry anything because she just kept on hugging me, and she was so grateful. And after this, I decided that when I got home, because I was just so impacted by it, it was just the most amazing feeling I've ever felt in my life, because I've never had the opportunity or the money to give that much to anybody. So my family owns a farm and everything, and every year we butcher a couple steers, and so do our neighbors. And we always have leftover meat that we usually give to some of our neighbors that don't have farms and they're little unfinancially stable. And we usually give it to them, but I've decided that I'm going to try and wrangle up as much as their extra meat and everything, and maybe even get them to donate a steer to them, because I just can't believe the feeling that it gave me, that it was just amazing. So with that, I'd like to thank the trustees again, and thank you for this opportunity.
Hello, I'm Luke Massey, and I go to Riverview High School. When I found out that the Coshocton Foundation was going to give each of us $100 to make a difference in our community, I knew that I wanted to use my money to impact as many people as I possibly could. So I'd been thinking for the longest time, where could I make the biggest impact on the most people, and I wanted to make sure I made the right decision. It took me a long time and a lot of thinking, but I finally came to what I feel is the best decision. So as you all know, right now, Riverview School District is having a big funding problem, and we're trying to pass a levy in the spring for an income tax so we can maintain the same education and the same functioning that we have had for the past however many years, to keep the same level of education that we have had. So after a lot of thinking, I decided to donate my $100 to the Citizens for Riverview. I went about this process. I went into the school one day and I gave my money to Molly Bordenkirker. She's a math teacher at the junior high, and she is in charge of Citizens for Riverview. So I explained to her that I'm in the youth leadership class this year, and that the Coshocton Foundation had given this money for us to pay it forward, and I told her that I wanted to donate the money to the Citizens for Riverview because Riverview has had such a big impact on not just me, but my family and all of the other students and the teachers that have been through Riverview, as I'm sure many of you know. And I want Riverview to be able to keep the same education program and extracurriculars that it has had and been able to have a great impact on so many people. And I want the future generations to be able to experience the same thing, if not have a better experience through Riverview that I have. So when I gave Mrs. Bordenkirker the money, she was so ecstatic. She was so happy. She was very thankful for my donation, and she just told me how big of an impact that this was going to have, more than I might even realized. She told me that I would not just be impacting the thousands of students that go to our district, but the teachers and all the other staff members that are employed at Riverview. She told me that the money would be used for promotion of the levy, so like yard signs and car signs, like car magnets, and then helping people. They've got people that are doing phone calls and informing people about the levy, and it just will help get the word out and stress the importance that we need this levy to pass for our school to maintain the standards that we have had so far. But after she finished telling me this, it gave me such a good feeling when I left that day to know that I could be helping so many people, and it just felt so good to feel that I could have this big of an impact with money that was just given to me through the Coshocton Foundation, and I'm so thankful to have this opportunity. And I was informed later that Mrs. Bordenkirker gave me a shout out, I guess, at their next teacher in service a couple weeks ago, I think. And so recently I've had a few teachers and staff members just thanked me for my donation, and every time that someone tells me thank you, it just makes me feel even better. It makes me feel like I know I made the right decision on where to donate this money. And I would just like to thank the Coshocton Foundation for giving me this opportunity of paying it forward, and I would encourage each of you to take the opportunity to pay it forward if you get the chance. It can make a big impact on not just you, but more people than you may ever know. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Macy Geog, and I'm a junior at Riverview High School. I was very interested in the Pay It Forward projects because I love being able to help others in need in my community. At first, I was very indecisive on who to give my $100 to because there's so many great options. In the beginning, I was leaning towards donating to the Nationwide Children's Hospital because my family has been very grateful for their services in the past. But then recently, all the buildings in the Riverview School District had a flu epidemic, making many of the teachers and students sick. And when I heard that the flu was bad at my former elementary, which is Warsaw, I chose to purchase different disinfectant wipes with my pay-it-forward money, because younger students tend to share more germs rather than junior high or high school students. And a few days later, there was a teacher's in-service, which is where I went and gathered my disinfectant supplies in my local Dollar General. I bought 38 bottles of disinfectant wipes and a few packages of Band-Aids for the office. There was 1 bottle of wipes that went to each classroom at the building. And upon my arrival, every staff member was already disinfecting the whole school because the teachers were at their in-service at the high school. They were extremely excited and thankful that I was able to purchase the wipes to help them sanitize the school with the Coshocton Foundation's money. I felt proud knowing that I was able to help the staff and students at my former elementary school, and I appreciate the teachers and staff of the Riverview School District because they do truly care about the well-being of their students. This project has been a great experience for me, and I plan to keep contributing to the community because the community has done so much for me over the years. And finally, I would like to thank you all for your contribution to Coshocton County Youth Leadership in the Pay It Forward projects. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lexi Zimmer, and I'm a junior at Ridgewood High School. I think like everybody else, I didn't know what I was going to do with the money at first when we were told about the Pay It Forward project. And I tried to think about it, and nothing came to me right away. And I decided the best thing that I could do was just step back and wait for the opportunity to come to me. And then, well, my kitten had to have surgery, and we had to take her to the vet, and she got like a severe infection from her incision. And so we had to like support her a lot because we had to support her a lot throughout her recovery. And that made me think about like all the animals that don't have like unconditional support from like families. And so I decided that I wanted my $100 to go to animals in some sort of way. And that made me think about, I had to think about an organization that I wanted to donate to. And I knew through my 4-H group, we always donated to the animal shelter in Coshocton. And they were always very grateful for all the donations that we gave them, big or small. And they always seem very grateful for all the adoptions that take place there. Because I always see on their Facebook page they post about every adoption that they take with all the families and the animals. So I felt like donating my money there would make a huge difference and make me feel really good and about myself and that I fulfilled the project. So I called them and asked them what they needed. And they said their list was on their website. So I visited their website. And on the website, I saw that their whole like business and organization ran on donations, and that was all they have. And most of their career positions there are volunteer. So that's what really made me want to donate my money to them. And so the next day, I went to Walmart and got a bunch of different kinds of food and treats, and they needed toys for the animals. And they also needed a bunch of cleaning supplies like bleach and disinfectant wipes and laundry detergent and other things. So we went to, so then the next day, I took in the supplies to donate. And when I was walking in with all the supplies, they all had smiles on their faces. And they thanked me numerous times about all the stuff that I brought and how much they needed it all. And they really went on about how much they needed all the kitten food that I brought. So that made me feel really good that I chose the right things to bring. And I could tell they were very appreciative about all this stuff that I brought. And when I went in, they wanted me to see all the animals that I was helping, so they took me to meet all the animals, and the ones that they had names, they told me all their names and let me pet them and everything. And it just made me feel like I really fulfilled this project, and this is really what I wanted to do with the money. And so I would like to thank all the people that made this project happen. It made me feel like I made a huge difference in my community, and for the animals that were there, and for the people that had to clean and take care of the animals. And I'm truly grateful to have had the privilege to take part in this opportunity, so thank you.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah Hardesty. I'm 16 and I go to Riverview High School. I would like to start by thanking all of you for making this possible and for thanking Betsy for helping with CCYL because I've already had so many great experiences through this group. With that being said, for this project, I know that I wanted to split up the money as much as possible. And actually, I already had an idea of what I wanted to do before we got the money. I started by making boxes for the Operation Christmas Child. I know that doesn't directly affect Coshocton, but I love kids and I love helping them, and I think that we kind of overlook setting a good example for them. And so I really hope that by sending those boxes over to Africa, that they can grow up to be strong, caring leaders in their own communities. And with the other half of the money, I went through drive-thrus and paid for people's meals behind me, which I know is kind of cliche and more common, but it's happened to me and my family a few times, and we really appreciated it. And especially around the holidays, I know that that extra little gift can be really heartwarming. So I'd again like to thank all of you for contributing to this, and we kind of overlook helping other people in our community. So I thought that this was a really good practice to care for others and build up our community. Thank you.
Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Zach Balo, and I'm a junior at Riverview High School. I'd like to start off by thanking the Coshocton County Trustees and the Coshocton Foundation for donating the money and allowing us all to go out and make a difference. So far in CCYL, I've met a lot of great people and had a lot of great experiences, and this project is just the same. When I was thinking about what I was going to do with my money, I went back to this summer, actually, and I decided to volunteer this summer at the Coshocton County Handicap Society. My dad actually is the manager at AK Steel, and they had a cleanup day there, and he asked me to come. And at first, honestly, I wasn't really excited about coming. I wanted to go hang out with my friends. It was summer. But I was glad that I went. And when I did go, I didn't know that it would turn out to be a volunteer opportunity for me for the rest of the summer and impact my life the way it did. So what I would do with the Coshocton County Handicap Society is I would go in usually on Monday mornings for about 2 to 4 hours, and people would come in and they would have like wheelchairs or crutches or things that would help them get around, and the people that would come in, they couldn't afford to have these things fixed like professionally. So I would take old parts that they had here at the building for the Coshocton County Handicap Society and help fix these things for the people. And it was really impactful seeing all these people come in because it was like firsthand. They were right there. You could see the people really struggled to get around, and doing this stuff really helped them. Sometimes we would even loan out scooters and all kinds of things to these people so they could get around. So when I got this money, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. I knew I wanted to give it to the Coshocton County Handicap Society. So that's what I did. And when I went in there, and gave the money to Candy Angle, who I'd been working with all summer. She had really impacted my life, always been there. You know, she encourages me in everything. And I was thinking about, how it made me feel to give this money. And I know a lot of people would say, it made me feel good. It made me feel special as a person, like I made a difference. But I was thinking back to one thing I heard from my principal at Riverview High School. We have a little meeting at the end of every year, and he addresses each class. And one of the things he told us is givers gain in this world. And when I thought about that, I was like, what he's saying maybe is what goes around comes around. If I give, somebody will give to me. But really, this project kind of changed my mindset on that. I think what he meant by giver's gain is you're going to gain a perspective, like you're going to gain a different understanding of what people are going through. And I think that's what I did. When I gave to these people, I understood, not everybody's as fortunate as you and I. And, it really helped me understand that people do need help, and people that are more fortunate should be willing to give. So I'm very glad that I gave the money to the Coshocton County Handicap Society, and they were very excited. Actually, Candy posted it out, and that's how Betsy ended up knowing about it before I presented here. So, yeah, I was very thankful for the money, so thanks again, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Hannah Doberstein, and I'm a junior at Coshocton Christian School, and I chose to donate my money to Haiti's Angels Orphanage. And the reason I chose Haiti is because it's the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. Over 80% of the population is below the poverty level, and it's just a nation with a lot of corruption and low levels of education and lots of natural disasters. Unlike in the United States, these people don't really get any government aid when they are really poor, and they don't really have any private programs for them to help them because the government's really poor too. The majority of the population has to live off of $1.23 per day. Because of this, a lot of families are forced to give up their children or sell their children out of desperation because they don't have enough money to feed them, or they don't have a job or any ways to support their family. Due to the lack of education, they're often tricked into selling their kids into sex trades. When I talked to the founder of this orphanage, she told me that the kids there, they didn't feel safe in the orphanage unless there was a lock on the door, and that really just kind of broke my heart. Like I said, the government doesn't have any money for long-term solutions, so that's why the kids are often sent into orphanages. So I was inspired to give because of the great need that the children have just to feed and clothe them. Even the poorest family in America has the right to an education, which is something I take for granted a lot. Like I said, their greatest need daily is just food and water, and that's what my $100 will go towards. I just feel blessed that I live a pretty comfortable life, and I can give to help others less fortunate than myself. And when I donated to the founder of Haiti's Angels, she just commented that a lot of small donations add up to make a big difference. And I first heard about this orphanage when, I don't know if it was in my 9th or 10th grade year, but she came in and she spoke to us about it, and it just really made me want to help. So thank you for this opportunity. That's all I have.
First off, before I introduce myself, I'd like to thank the Coshocton Foundation for donating the money for this amazing opportunity. This was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life. I really don't know if I've ever done anything quite like this before, so this was just amazing, so thank you for that. Hi, I'm Curtis Varian. I go to Ridgewood High School. I'm a junior there. I first learned of the program that I'm donating to from my teacher, Spanish teacher, Mrs. Lott. She's also the foreign language club leader, and she was one day at the meeting. She was handing out these papers, and they had Nicaragua, a list of items on there for Nicaragua schools, and she was asking to donate school supplies for this, and she said like 5 to 10 items, and she told us, you know, it's got to be due by this certain date, and I was like, man, that's a great thing to do, you know, give school supplies to all these schools in Nicaragua that probably don't have enough school supplies for all the students there. So I thought that was an amazing thing to do, and later on we learned of this Pay It Forward project, and I thought, man, that would be a perfect opportunity to give school supplies to all these amazing Nicaragua, or this amazing program that is for Nicaragua. So I decided that's what I was going to do with my money, and one day I went out, I bought all the items. I probably had close to 50 or 60 items to donate to this program, and which is way more than she asked for. And when I came into class one day to give her the items, she looked at the bags and she was speechless. She had no idea how to react, and I mean, she just couldn't talk, and the only words that came out of her mouth were thank you. And I was just overcome with joy, because it was just an amazing, amazing experience. And so the reaction I had whenever I gave the money was just, I mean, I was joyful, obviously, but it was a great experience. I didn't know how to react. I've never done this before. I felt amazing once I did it. After that, I wanted to do more, and I'm looking to donate more to other people. So I'm going to try and come up with something that I can do for our community and other communities around the world. So yeah, that's all I have. So thank you.
Hello everyone, my name's Sophie Miser and I'm a junior at Coshocton High School. There couldn't be a more perfect place for me to tell you about my Pay It Forward choice than here in Roscoe Village. This place is so special to me and has provided incredible opportunities for me since I was 8 years old. It didn't take me more than a moment to decide to give my donation to the Coshocton Canal Court. The restoration of historic Roscoe Village 50 years ago set in motion the series of events that brings me here today. When Edward and Frances Montgomery saw the future in the past, they enabled generations who never experienced life on the canal to step back into yesteryear. Not long after the restoration was underway, the Coshocton Canal Festival and Roscoe Apple Butter Stern Festival became time-honored community traditions. I had been in the Canal Festival Parade and the Mayor's Promenade since I was little, but things got real in 2011 when I was chosen as the Coshocton Canal Junior Queen. Nurtured by the older girls on court, this shy young girl was introduced to our unique local history and life on the road promoting our amazing community. Once I had a taste of big dresses, the parades, the speeches, the traveling, and the friends, I was hooked. In preparing for my run for Coshocton Canal Princess, I researched the murder of Mrs. Matilda Wade, who was killed in Roscoe Village in 1848. Mind you, I was 11 years old, but I was completely enthralled with Matilda's story. She was a young, beautiful, kind soul who was gruesomely murdered just down the road. In my year as princess, I was confident enough to take the stage myself at many of the 57 festivals and events I attended across the state. As soon as my reign was over, I was already researching my storyline for Queen, even though I would have to wait until high school to compete. In the meantime, the committee that governed the Coshocton Canal royalty disbanded. My sister and I were heartbroken as the program had given us so much and was our dream to each have the chance to be queen. Thankfully, there were 3 incredibly persistent women that were not willing to let the program die. Roscoe Human Resources Director Casey Brown, Linda Daniel, and my mom, a former queen, Canal Queen herself, saved the program. Through the foundation of a new nonprofit, the Coshocton Canal Court Committee. Back in business and preparing for the 2018 festival, I was busy researching Florence Osborne, a teacher at the center of the firebook controversy of early 1913. Being crowned queen opened so many new doors for me. I was now the leader of a 9-person court with young girls who looked up to me like a big sister. Their experience with the court rested in my leadership. We had an amazing year traveling thousands of miles across the state as ambassadors for Coshocton and Roscoe Village. Last fall, I hosted almost 300 out-of-town guests at the pavilion during the Apple Butter Stirring Festival. This experience gave me the confidence to stand in front of people and speak. It gave me the chance to learn to organize for large groups of guests. It inspired in me a passion to share the vibrant heritage of our community. Most of all, it made me believe in myself in a way I never thought I could. The Coshocton Canal Court Committee relies heavily on community donations and sponsorships to continue introducing young women of our county to all Roscoe Village has to offer. For me to be able to offer financial support to a program that has given me so much is an overwhelming feeling. When I presented the donation to Committee Treasurer Casey Brown, it warmed my heart to see her beaming. I know she was happy to receive the money, but I know it made her even more happy that the donation came from one of her queens. Thank you, Coshocton Foundation, for the exposure you have given me to many organizations that I didn't even know existed, and may I end with my sincere appreciation for the donation you allowed me to give to the program that has made me who I am today. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Taylor Motes, and I'm a junior at Coshocton High School. As a part of Coshocton County Youth Leadership, our class was given the task to practice the art of philanthropy. When we first got this project, I had about 20 different ideas roaming through my head, and I couldn't decide which one to land on. But I immediately decided to start searching and asking different people, and I landed on the idea of donating clothes to the Coshocton Elementary School. The inspiration behind this donation came from about 25 little 6- and 7-year-olds. My mother is a first-grade teacher. She's been a teacher for 24 years now. And when I was younger, we always talked about when I was a high schooler getting to come in and work with the kids on different things. And so I've always been quite busy the past 2 years of high school, but this year I'm going to prioritize it. I'm going to go in, I'm going to help these kids because I really like teaching them. So this year, I went in, I worked with the kids on sight words and rocket math and on their missing assignments. And you know, after you work with little kids for quite some time and in the classroom, you get a little attached. And so, you know, I walk into the classroom and immediately I have all these different kids running up and I got layers of kids surrounding me in this giant hug every single time I come in. And they always ask, do I get to work with you today? Do you have cupcakes or cookies for me today? Because I bake and bring them in stuff all the time. And so one day, I was not able to go into the elementary. I had something going on, and my mom came home that night, and she had this candy corn piece of craft paper that this kid had made. And she walked in and said, one of my students wanted me to give this to you as a gift from him. And I came into the elementary the next day, and I called him back, and I'm working with him on him with his sight words, and he goes, did you like my gift? And I said, yes, I absolutely loved it. It's hanging on my wall. And he broke out into this biggest smile, gave me the biggest hug, and I knew right then that I wanted my money to go towards these kids. So I started talking to my mom, and I asked her, I said, what do these kids need? And she was like, look down the halls, watch. And I look down the halls, and I see kids that didn't have proper winter attire, who didn't have coats, who maybe didn't have, nice shoes. So I went in and I talked to the secretaries, and they told me that they had a closet in the back full of clothes for kids who needed them, were in need of different clothes, and for younger students who had accidents or had gotten sick. So that day I went to Walmart, and I was able to purchase pairs of sweatpants. They wanted gender-neutral ones in smaller sizes, and I purchased bigger shoes for 5th and 6th grade boys that needed some nicer shoes. And I took it into the elementary the next day, and I brought it into the secretaries, the same secretaries that were mine when I was in elementary, and they hugged me, and they told me that they were proud of the students that were in Coshocton County Youth Leadership and what all we were accomplishing. And they were very grateful for the donation. And as I was walking out, a little boy actually came in who needed another pair of pants. And as the giver of this, I felt pleased with the choice I had made and grateful I could give something back to the kids that were always trying to give me something. The same kids that gave me a hug and a smile every single day tried to give me, they wrote my name on little pieces of paper, or they tried to give me one of their snack bites from their bag or something. And so for that, I'm very grateful to the funders of this and the people who could make this service project happen. It was an opportunity I will never forget, and for that I say thank you. And for the little boy walking down the hallway in his new pair of shoes, I say thank you on his behalf.
Good morning. My name is Leah Brinker, and I'm a junior at Riverview High School. I'm thrilled to be standing in front of all of you this morning, sharing about my life-changing experience through the Pay It Forward project. When I received the $100, I did not rack my brain trying to think of where I would donate the money because I knew God would place an opportunity at my feet, which He did. My inspiration came during our December program day. The day's focus was on poverty, and quite frankly, it shed light on me just how blessed I am because I've never had to worry about where my next meal would be or where I would lay my head at night, which we all experienced during that simulation when we were struggling to, get from place to place and buy food and save our house and whatnot. On the 10th of December, lunch was provided by the Shepherd's Christian Assembly on Main Street. And I'm going to be a little honest, I was skeptical at first to go to the soup kitchen because by the grace of God, I've never had to be in a soup kitchen and I wasn't sure what I was going to expect. Right when I walked through the doors, I was overwhelmed and taken aback by Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence's passion for the ministry and to serve others, just like God has called each and every one of us to do. Towards the end of our time for lunch, Starkey talked about donations always being welcome and how far they will touch others. I immediately knew that was where my money had to go. For as long as I can remember, my church has never provided a place for those to come in and enjoy a meal and fellowship of the Lord, so I was anxious to be a part of something so touching. I knew that I had to act fast because I wanted to provide a hearty meal, for those around Christmas time. So on December 19th, I went to Aldi and purchased items that could be used in quantity, items like noodles, rice, sloppy Joe mix, chicken and beef broth, vegetables, pasta, and I also bought cookies because who doesn't want cookies? Once I loaded the car, it was packed completely full. So then I drove over to the Christian Assembly, and Starkey was in disbelief, and he brought somebody out with him. And every time we made a trip, he's like, "There's more food? Are you kidding me? This is just so amazing." And it just felt so overwhelming to see those people, and they had so many smiles, and I just was carrying in these boxes of food. And it was just so special because I think I'm going to use this loosely. I don't think we've ever had to worry about where we were going to eat next or, have to go into a soup kitchen like so many people have to. And it was just really special that I could impact so many people. Starkey was so thankful for the food donations, and I knew in that moment that what I had done had touched so many people in the days to come.
So I think Ariana and I have made a huge difference in the Shepherd's Christian Assembly, and I know Starkey and I can't remember his wife's name, but I know they are really thrilled with what we have done. Also, switching gears, I am in an organization called Teen Leadership Corps at Riverview High School, and one of our projects is we write back and forth to members of the senior center down by down in Coshocton by the Buellers. And my pen pal had a very heartbreaking story. She expressed to me in the months back that she was abused by several different men, and her children didn't speak to her, and she was not looking forward to the Christmas time at all because she knew she would not get any gifts, and her children wouldn't come and talk to her, and she might not see her grandchildren, and she didn't know where her life went wrong. She prayed to God, and she just couldn't see any hope during the Christmas time, and that really broke my heart. So with a portion of the money, I bought her a small Christmas present and delivered it, and she didn't know that I was doing it, so I'm sure it touched her, but I'm not sure, I know it touched her and gave her spirit when her hope was lost during the Christmas season. So thank you to the Coshocton Foundation for providing such a wonderful opportunity to not only me, but to those who are less fortunate and to all of us who are able to make a difference in Coshocton County, and I know that it's going far and wide by what we can't see ourselves, so thank you.
Wow. I can't tell you how many times I was standing over there taking your photographs, working really hard at choking back the tears. I am deeply and sincerely proud of each and every one of you and the decisions that you made, the selfless acts. $100 in the grand scheme of things really is not a huge amount of money, but the impacts that you have made, the differences that you have made in someone's life here in Coshocton, in Haiti, and in Nicaragua. You thought outside the box. You thought with your heart. You thought with compassion. I am, again, I'm speechless. Every year I say it can't get any better, and every year it does. Every year it does. I'm so proud of each and every one of you, and I know your parents are as well. So I want to thank you, kids, young leaders, for having so much thought on this Pay It Forward project. I also want to thank the Coshocton Foundation and the trustees who continue to fund this project, and Bill Brown for your idea so many years ago. It's really having an impact, and I'm looking forward to it continuing into the future. So thank you all again, and I really believe that each of these kids we really need another round of applause for them. I also want to thank Casey, and because he's told me to go up to the microphone, I left my cheat sheet with the names of all of your helpers behind, but I know Andrew Martin because he was in last year's leadership class. He's interning with Casey Claxon this year, and I know Drew Dunlop because he's been behind the camera now for 2 or 3 years? 3 years now, all right. And Casey brought 2 other individuals with him today, Mark Clark and Tony Retto, so I'd like to thank the 2 of you as well for helping with this project, and Casey, of course, for being the mastermind behind the live stream and also videotaping. This is a phenomenal experience. Jandy and I were back there, admittedly, on Facebook, and Jandy is much more well-versed at doing this stuff than I am, and so she's there inviting people to watch, and I'm like, I don't know how you're doing this. But I do know your mom, Tricia, Zach, was watching. I'm sure there were others. I'm just not technologically savvy enough to know all this stuff. So, and I managed to only cough during the applause, which was amazing for me. Let's go ahead and take, let's take about a 5 to 10 minute break. That will allow lunch to get ready, all of you to kind of take a